Martin Buber has famously written, I can contemplate a tree. I can accept it as a picture. I can feel it as a movement. I can assign it to a species and observe it as an instant. I can overcome its uniqueness and form so rigorously that I can recognize it only as an expression of law. Throughout all of this, the tree remains my object and has its time span, its kind and condition. But it can also happen, if will and grace are joined, that as I contemplate the tree, I am drawn into a relation and the tree ceases to be an it. We are calling the third Jewish Climate Change Conference, Everything is Connected. And in order to experience that sense of connection, to really feel it, to have it cease to be an it, something just up here in our brains, and begin to be a thou, a something in our hearts and throughout our being. That is what we were hoping will happen to you when you come to this conference. That is the environment we are trying to create. To give you a few examples, you can look at a page of Talmud, and in this nice color-coded page, it shows where the Mishnah is from redacted around 200, and the Gemara and Rashi from the Middle Ages, and the Tosafot and other later commentaries. And you can see all of that on the page, and you can look at it, and you can understand what it means. And that's kind of up here. But when we dig into the text itself, when we start to read and see the conversations across space and time among the rabbis in the ancient text and the biblical text, and we see how they're interconnected and we feel it, then we begin to experience that Talmud page in our heart. Then we begin to understand better what it's really about. Then we could become really in relationship with that page, and we learn and we grow and we understand the world in a better place. The same kind of experience can happen to us in relationship to the natural world. So you can look at this nice picture of an ecosystem, very simplified, but it shows which creatures are eating what and some of the relationships that go on in terms of predators and prey. And we can understand that up here in our head. Or we can go outside and we can sit and experience that. We can sit in the woods or even in a park. And we can become better understanding of it. We can come into conversation with the natural world that we're really a part of. And when we do that, then we really do feel ourselves being a part of this more than human world. When we sit and we contemplate it and we watch it and we understand it. I think of the film, My Octopus Teacher, which shows the daily living with that octopus from being in its environment day in and day out, and what that did for the filmmaker. And that's what we're trying to do here. We can think about this also just in terms of our own communities. We can look at a diagram of a community and show our family system and see how everybody's interconnected, and we can understand that in some kind of intellectual way. But that's very different from being part of a community and having conversations and relationships and interacting with people day in and day out, or over years, over time. And even the same thing is true within our bodies. We know everything in our bodies is connected. We know that our digestive system is connected to our brain, because when we're anxious, we get butterflies, or we get maybe a stomach ache or something. We know these things, we experience them, and then we're in pain, maybe we get kind of nasty, because everything's connected. It's not separate. And we know that when we live inside our bodies, when we experience our bodies, and we understand, take the time to connect to what's going on in our bodies and feel it. So all these different kinds of connections are part of everything in life. And climate change is no exception. We talk about the intersectionality in climate change with all the other social justice issues that we care about. There's so many we can think about. We can think about immigration. We can think about racism. We can think about poverty. We can think about homelessness. We can think about health and illness. And it's all connected. And climate change connects to every one of those issues and others beyond them. We can understand that on some intellectual level, but what our aim and our goal to do with this conference is, whether you're a presenter or a participant, is for you to really delve deep into the conversation, for all of us to delve deep into the conversation and to come away with some bit more understanding, not just in our brains, but in our hearts, in our souls, in our whole bodies, how everything is connected. And climate change impacts everything. So please join us on April 25th for the third Jewish Climate Change Conference. Everything is connected. See you then.